Good morning and welcome to Apex Racing TV, or should we say afternoon, or late supper, anytime, wherever you are in the world. It's Alex Simpson and Brenton O'Brien here for the Grand Prix 247.com iRacing Star Mazda series. Brenton, you're probably not going to be with us all race today, but just while you're here, and Mosport, great little circuit in the Star Mazdas. I actually think this would be a great little race, even if we have only got the 12 drivers out there today.
Yeah, and good evening to you, AC, and to everybody else. Mosport's just a great track. I think it's one of those tracks, isn't it, there's not too many cars that it's not suited to. Just that good flowing track, that long back straight where you can really tuck into the draft there, and we've got a 45 lap bonanza on tonight.
Yeah, guys, doing about minute 17 so far in qualifying. You can see your current provisional grid order just scrolling across the top at the moment. I think, the race is going to be about an hour long here. Expecting a couple of pit stops. It's going to be, strategy's all going to be quite important. I think very large pit window today, so we'll have to see what the guys go for. As you pointed out off air, Brenton, it looks like we're going to have a straight old school fight between McLaren and Ferrari there.
Yeah, it's, as you said, it's good that we've got the two Ferraris here with Pierre Emmanuel and also Kevin Huang, and they're actually working quite well together in qualifying. I've noticed utilising each other's draft and their quali laps, and at the moment they've got themselves up in 3rd and 6th on the grid, which is probably above their weight where they normally would be. But we've also got the two McLarens of yesteryear with Scotty Newton and Alex Marshall as well.
Well, these guys are finishing up their qualifying sessions as well. Just a brief run through the standings from the last race as well. Start with the Drivers' Championship. Aaron Hamilton, as we know, in Jaguar F1 took the victory at Montreal, so he gets himself 20 points. Joshua Anderson in the McLaren Honda 2015 spec, as they're almost 3 wide down the back straight. Came in second, so he's sitting on 20 points. Also gets the bonus for a clean race as well, so 0 incidents. So tied on the top of the championship there. Joe Perkett, followed by Alex Marshall, Steve Bocade, and then Fuji Spartano. Looking at the team championship, obviously Jaguar at top with McLaren there as well. Leighton House have lost a driver, but we know they're recruiting again, currently sat in 3rd. The McLaren 88 car of Alex Marshall and Scotty Newton sat in 4th place. Williams Martini in 5th, and then the Williams Rothmans, I believe it is in 6th there. So great to see some legacy names out there on track as well, and I'm actually looking forward to when the grid starts to pick up. We just want to touch on that very briefly, and that's if you'd signed up for the league and you're not here, you don't intend to race, do let Fuji know, because this is a limited place league. It's not like the GT series where people can just come and go as they please. There's only so many spots allowed on the grid because of the way the teams work. So if you can't make the race, please do Fuji the common courtesy and just let him know that you won't be able to attend, so he can get some more cars in there. We want to see 20 car grids, and right now it looks like we've got 10 people who have got no intention of racing. So yep, my little rant over. Do the good thing, tell him you can't make it, and let's get this league up to 20 cars.
I'm sure some of the people appreciate how much work goes into organising a series such as this, and Fuji does a wonderful job, we know that, and I'll back up what you say there, AC. Just to have that kind of number is got to be disappointing for Fuji, but he'll soldier on and sell the good product, and hopefully, like you said, there'll be more cars later on.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just some of these drivers, they just need to stick with it. We'll get the numbers out. We'll get rid of the people who don't want to race, and there's plenty of people waiting in the wings in the Star Mazda who want to drive. So I'm sure we can get the numbers up really, really quickly. We just have to filter out those people that have I've got no intention of racing at this point. So we understand. Can't always do it. You commit to something and then things change. But you just need to let us know so we can get you out and get somebody in who wants to drive. Right,
Qualifying's
Brenton.
finished. Yeah,
Yeah, I was about to
Kev's
say, can you
qualifying's
take us
finished.
through it?
Yeah, Scotty Newton in the McLaren on 117.111. His teammate Alex Marshall a 17.4, so 0.3 of a second there. So yeah, it might be that possibility. Scotty got a good draft in qualifying. Pierre Manuel Abanishi, hope I got that right for you, Pierre. Third place with a 17.4 in front of his teammate with a 17.6. Aaron Hamilton in the Jaguar. Rounds out the top 5. Alex Poe in the Leighton House 17.8. Andrew Stokes, I believe, in the Benetton 18.4. Fuji Satano in the Rothmans Williams. Min Park in 18.9. And Mode Sata with a 19.8. I'm pretty confident that will be your top 10, just different order.
Yeah, Lachlan Hall then was doing practice, so hopefully he will take to the grid. Hasn't at the moment. Steve Bocade as well. I'm hoping he will make, even though he didn't set a time.
No, Bocade's not with us at the moment. He's not.
Okay, that's a shame.
But anyway, Rebs are going to be building, and well, hopefully with the scarce field that we've got, hopefully they can put on a good show.
Yeah, good thing about the Mosport circuit actually, and the Star Mazda, is the draft's quite a large factor here, so hopefully the field will stay quite close together.
Yeah, it's hard to break the draft here, so yeah, hopefully they'll stay close.
Just waiting for the timer clock to tick down. Still got Min Park to maybe jump on the grid. Yeah, here he comes. Right then, round 2 of the Grand Prix 247.com series is going green anytime.
Green.
Just a bit too early. Here we go. Green flag's out. Lights are out. Good start from the two McLarens there. They've absolutely leapt forward. Oh, 5th place on the grid. Aaron Hamilton got a great start as well in his Jaguar. Splits the two Ferraris going into turn 1. Wants to have a look at the other one, maybe into 3. Tricky place to overtake. Very easy to run wide. Oh, with the cars off.
Kevin Huang gone.
Kevin lost
I'm
it in the
not
Ferrari,
sure.
and there was...
And Alex Pohl as well, so I'm going to have a look to see what happened to Kev, whether he got a touch on the back. It actually didn't look like it, so we'll just have a look at what's happened to Kevin there.
Yeah, let's just see if I can bring up a replay.
No, he hasn't touched it at all. He's just put it up on the curb on the inside on the left there, and that's just tossed it across on the right. So no contact there at all. So not the start that he wants for sure. I'm not sure how. Then Alex Pohl has lost the Leighton House as well.
Well, actually, I think looking at what happened to Pohl, let's just take another little glance of that replay back, and then we'll get back live to the action. It's pretty close up front. But yeah, it looks like
Alex has done
Pohl,
exactly the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just gone over the inside, didn't they? So the cold tyres, they've just run over the inside and just spat them out. Everybody else manages to avoid both of those cars. They will get back. They will get a repair, but they will continue in this race. But yeah.
Yeah, but that's caused a separation for the top 3. Like already from over the strike of lap 1 there, the top 3, the 2 McLarens and the Jaguar. Great start by Alex Hamilton. They've blown up to 3 seconds. So these 3 here, if they keep their heads together here, they should be trying to work with each other and trying to create just that bit more gap and then get into the fighting later on. And I'm sure that's exactly what the first 2 McLarens are doing, and I would imagine Aaron's just going to try and tag along for the ride here. But this lead will start to stretch out. I think Pierre may have a little bit of damage there from contact with Alex Pohl on that first lap incident.
Yeah, let's see if we can see any damage on Pierre's car.
He just got hit in the back left, so...
Yeah, it might be alright. Wing looks all intact. Doesn't appear to be anything that I can see from this camera angle. Looks good. Front wing's all good. So yeah, I think he'll be okay. Seems to be pulling a gap from the cars behind. Stokes trying to stay within that 1 second, get that slipstream the best he can. Front three though look very evenly matched, you have to say.
Yeah, and Obanish has just gone wide as well into turn 1, so that leads out over to 4 seconds now. The thread here is with Aaron. He's just dropped off a little bit. He's just got to stay in that draft here and drive the things off that Jaguar for the first few laps.
Yeah, one thing with the McLarens, they were quick all through practice. I was down listening to what was going on with the guys there, and they were working well with their race set, and lap times were pretty much identical to what they were doing in Q as well. So cars set up very, very well. So I expect them to be able to keep this pace up almost all race long.
Well, the interesting thing will be here as the race goes on is, will Alex Marshall have the pace to pass Scotty Newton later on? And Scotty missed a little bit of a mistake there, and that's let Aaron right back in, because Alex had to back off a little bit to avoid Scotty. And Scotty again with a bit of oversteer out of the exit there of the last turn, so puts himself under attack here with both Aaron and Alex. I can't see Alex making any significant move on Scotty unless he thinks he's been helped badly, but it is certainly letting Aaron right into this.
Yeah,
and
it's all about
Scotty's gone wide.
It was all about that wide entry into the fast right-hander there from Scott. It just completely compromises you through that whole section. And had that been Aaron behind him, I think Aaron might have made a little move. But of course, Alex is just sort of being very patient. He's his teammate ahead of him, doesn't want to do anything rash this early on. But yeah, if he makes a few more mistakes, then he might well want to try and get by and lead this race from the front.
Yeah, but if you're Aaron Hamilton sitting here in third place, why would you want to do anything except for sit in their draft, save a bit of fuel?
Stokes has got a great drive on Pierre here. Surely he's going to be side by side.
Pierre's taken a defensive line, hasn't he?
Yeah. Could be an opportune move. You have to go around the outside if he's going to make it. Just a little bit too far back. Didn't quite have the straight line speed, so it looks like the Benetton actually might be carrying a little bit more downforce than the Ferrari, and while tucked up in the draft it can close in, but as soon as he popped his nose out, he just lost ground.
But Hamilton having a bit of a look there at the inside of Alex Marshall into turn 1. Doesn't try and push too hard, just shoving his nose in there, just to let Marshall know that he's in there. But you know, whether the two McLarens at the front are trying to save fuel, in this case probably Scotty Newton, but they're certainly under attack here by Hamilton, and Pierre has dropped back to pretty much an even 5 seconds behind. So, yeah, we've got still 40 laps to go here, but it's a good run here by Aaron again.
Yeah, I think Aaron knows that he needs to separate these two McLarens, so they're not pushing each other. There's no pressure, they're not going to make any mistakes or anything like that, so if he can get by Marshall, then it just opens the race up a little bit for him right now, because they're just able to do their own thing out there at the moment. Tricky part that Aaron's got to deal with is that Alex has got draft off of his teammates, so it makes this run down the back straight almost impossible, so he's going to have to do it somewhere else on the circuit.
Yeah, but look at the ground he makes up here in the last 2 turns. Especially the last, that's probably the best that Scotty's done there. Yeah, so he's been able to step out there a little bit, but the last 2 times, just the oversteer the first time and then he understeer the second time. But Aaron's been able to keep his nose here, and what's that gap now? Back to just over 5.1 seconds now. So yeah, it's the race is certainly pushing on with these 3.
Lap time's quite a bit quicker that time. Interestingly, Pierre actually lapped quicker than both Marshall and Hamilton that time by 0.4 of a second. So if he can keep that sort of pace up, then he could well bring himself back into this, and he might even bring Stokes along with him, although Stokes has dropped back to 1.2 second. Min Park and Fuji Sartano having a little battle side by side going into turn number 2. That's not going to work for Park. He is wide, he's into the tyre wall. Such a difficult corner. You just, I think that's one of the few corners that you daren't overtake on the outside.
No, there's just no grip out there.
And yeah, it's all, if you get it wrong, it's a guaranteed trip to the tyre barrier. That's the thing, and Park is in a right state out there. That's going to require a repair for sure.
sorry, Scotty Newton all crossed up there in the second last turn. He was actually just starting to draw away from these two, or whether Marshall was holding Hamilton up a bit. That could be the play here, to get Newton out free and Marshall just lay off a tenth or two here or there. But no, Scotty's made a mistake on that second last turn, and the other two trailing have got right back into it.
Good lap times from all three as well. 17.9 for Newton, even with that mistake. 0.6 for Marshall and a 0.8 for Hamilton. So these guys really starting to stretch their legs a little bit now. Yeah, in fourth place they only managed an 18.2, so it's very consistent lap times from Pierre. If these guys fight, as Hamilton maybe has a little look in Moss turn there, and quiet manages to pull it off.
Yeah, he got a good drive out though, but again, like you said,
this could be opportunity. He's close.
Yeah,
sorry, Brenton.
Marshall's got that benefit of having his teammate in front to supply a draft too, and you can be sure on TeamSpeak they're going, okay, stick to the left, stick to the right to stay in that draft, and again, Hamilton's not going to be able to get that job done here.
Yeah, tried, but just not happening there. Difference, you can see Marshall had a pretty slow sector 1 there, just looking at the time, and sector 2 not all that great, but Hamilton, yeah, very quick, and as they cross the line, Marshall actually has the quickest of the sector 3 times, and we're basically as where we were, but yeah, some good lap times there as well, so these guys just getting faster and faster out there right now.
Yeah, like I said, it's such a shame. There's, the series has got such potential with the cars, and the skins look great, and the idea behind it is fantastic. But the race that we've got at the front is good racing. It'd be great to have 2 or 3 more other cars really getting stuck in there, and you can see the potential of having all these look-alike F1s up there. But you'd have to think that Hamilton will get the job here after the exit there by Marshall.
Yeah. That looks like a good run as long as he's got the straight line speed that he needs. Marshall still getting the draft, yep.
But can you see how tight to the right hand side Newton was sticking there?
Yep.
That's exactly what we were talking about, that no doubt that Marshall got in Newton's ear to say, look, just get further right, further right. It's a bit messy, isn't
Marshall, yeah, he just got a little loose going through there.
And again,
Newton not having the best of times. I have to say, I think if Hamilton can get out front, he might be able to pull away. These McLarens just look on the absolute edge. I think they probably thought they were going to drive away here, and they're having to push the car beyond the limit just a tiny little bit, and it's upsetting the drivers a little bit as guy just goes extremely wide there. We saw what happened with Park just a few laps ago. If you get onto the grass there, and that was emergency procedures for Newton there, trying to stop himself going on the grass there.
Yeah, I'm just riding on board. And again, there's got to be a chance here.
That's going to be
Now that's really going to open it up. If Aaron can make the most of this, Scotty's going to be dropping down here. Now, let's just take notice here of Marshall's last few laps, where we got 18.1, 17.7, 17.6. So throw away the 18.1. Let's just say he's going to be averaging out 17.8. I'm thinking he's going to probably have to back off. Is that ticker here or there to get his teammate back in this battle? I don't think Newton wants to do a one-on-one with Hamilton. At the same time, what Hamilton wants to do here is make hay while the sun shines, get past Newton. Marshall. Like you said, maybe he's got the pace to go on with it and get through and get away. It's a great drive out of the last turn.
Certainly looks like he has the consistency, putting him under pressure. He knows it's go time now. Not going to take Scotty too much longer to get back on. He's there already.
Pretty much there already.
So that's the draft coming into effect there. So needs to
Hamilton looks like he's doing it easier. I'm on board with Newton at the moment, and the way he's working the wheel all over the shop, can't be doing his tyres any favour. And then I get on board with Hamilton, see how hard he's working the wheel, and it's just like a train. It's nowhere near as much work's going into it.
Yeah, as we just jump on board as well with Hamilton. Yeah, that's the key thing, isn't it? If you can be consistent and quick and not have to work the car too much, then that comes out at the end of the race with the time. It might only be a few seconds. Maybe you're a bit slower on a one-lap sprint. As we're side by side, Scott Newton up the inside. There he goes.
Yeah, they've got the job done.
I think the McLarens are a little bit less downforce, which is making them that twitchy, but actually they're quite quick, and that's why Hamilton struggled in a straight line. So yeah, let's see how this plays out. I still think maybe when pit stops come, if Hamilton can bang some good laps in and perhaps get 3 or 4 really clean laps, he might be able to jump these guys, and that's what's going to happen. That's where this race is going to change all of a sudden.
Yeah, or also maybe, I think you're right with the setup there. I think the McLarens are definitely showing a bit of grunt down the main straight there, but how good are they helping their tyres out here? Whether they need to take tyres. Generally, 45 laps, you might want to consider taking a set in your first pit stop, but you certainly won't need to take 2 new sets.
Have a little battle starting to form up, Min Park after getting his car repaired, and Kevin Hung here, so these guys separated by, well, what is that, about 9/10 of a second. It was a little bit closer, but Mim just ran a little bit wide in the exit turn 1 there, so Ferrari and Williams, and Min's wheeling that car somewhat out there right now as well. You just saw a massive slide, massive drift going through the corner. Looked good. Sure, it's not the quickest way.
I think this is a recovering Kevin Huang from our first lap drama on the turn 2 on lap 1, so 18.8 last lap, very good lap. Well, actually no, sorry, I stand corrected. That's about a second off the pace from where he was before, so I can't help but think to myself, maybe that second was committing a pass there on Min Park and dropping that time. So the challenge now is on Min Park and that in the Martini Williams, as to whether he can stay with Kevin Huang here, and it's a lot of work to do there.
Yeah, they're quite a long way back, obviously a lap behind anybody else now, so it's going to be difficult to get anything more out of this, but they're still in a relatively good place point scoring wise. I mean, as the season progresses and more drivers come about, these points are going to be harder to get hold of, so get them now while they can.
Yeah, Hamilton's passed Scotty Newton again, but onto the straight, Newton's got a very good run. Yeah, that McLaren's just faster in a straight line, considerably faster in a straight line, and Hamilton's almost defenceless here. The way it's going, I think he's going to have him. Even before they get to the corner, he's pretty much through. So that all goes well for the last few laps in that McLaren, as we've got Sata is in the pits with a major issue. He's obviously spilt the beans somewhere in the Mercedes.
And Mud not having the best of luck out there today. He'll get himself repaired and be back out. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see if Scott can build a little gap just to try and stay ahead and maybe close back in on his teammate ahead. Pretty old school Senna and Prost-esque, but with a Jaguar thrown in there for the mix.
Yeah, unfortunately Sata's left us, so down just to 9 runners now, which is, that's a real shame that, but he had some pretty bad damage. Now, yeah, that's a great run out of that turn there, out of the hairpin there. So, but even with the draft, Newton just seems to be actually pulling away little bit by little bit. So that has to be a concern for the Jaguar driver.
Yeah, looking at the speed difference on screen now, you can actually see that Newton was actually a couple of Ks faster at the end of the straight as Marshall makes a little mistake. Newton closes in. And that was with barely any draft whatsoever from his teammate ahead, and Hamilton was just 2 or 3 tenths of a second back, so probably in that sweet spot for getting as much draft as he's going to get. So that is going to be very, very difficult for Hamilton to do something. He's going to have to do something with strategy, get in, get out, try and get a couple of seconds clear or something like that with pit stop strategy, and bang some really good, quick, consistent laps, and it's the only way that's going to happen.
Yeah, look, that's why he's working that wheel so much less, that downforce is so much more, and Newton and Marshall are having to work a lot harder to get their cars, with good corner speed, but the work that Hamilton puts in around all the tighter sections just gets blown away down the straight, and to be in someone's draft and still be falling behind, that's got to be fairly depressing.
Yeah, I think it's at that point is when you realise that you've just got a little bit too much downforce, and there's not going to be an awful lot that you're going to do for the whole race. So as Scott maybe has a little look at his teammate, they think about, well, not sure what they thought about there for the second, but they're side by side, and this is exactly what Hamilton wants ahead, and Newton's up and past. Oh no, he's not.
Whoa! Well, does the Apex Racing Academy have any orders? You're the boss there, mate, and
No.
yeah, Hamilton's got a fantastic drive out of this turn here, and you'd think he's going to have the job in the turn one, no dramas at all there. So Marshall's gone from in the lead to dropping back to third, and you know, Scotty Newton didn't make life too easy for Marshall there, and yeah, paid the price there. So
God, he's definitely the centre of the team, isn't he? There.
Yeah.
No, took no prisoners. I saw a gap. I go for it.
Yeah, when I see a gap and don't go for it, I'm no longer a racing driver.
But yeah, fortunately Marshall, he's still there, so he won't be too worried about that at all. He'll just carry on doing his thing. It appears we've had an issue with Pierre as well. He's down in 7th place. He's had a pit stop. Is that a scheduled pit stop, Brenton? Can you see on the lap times?
Yeah, about lap 15. That would probably be close to being right. So yeah, I would say it would be. Hang on, 2 seconds.
Interestingly as well, he's actually came out in front of his teammate as well. So maybe those guys can start to work together like they did in qualifying, even though they are separated by a lap, but it might break them away from Andrew Stokes far enough, and maybe can close back in on the front three. If we jump back up there, they're exactly the same as they were. We're actually joined by Daniel Benningfield. Daniel, you should be on the racetrack, mate.
Yeah, it's a bit tight, you see, because just with the timing and everything, it's just really tight with when I finish work and all that, plus I've got uni exams at the moment, so yeah, it's a bit messy at the moment, trying to race.
Well, are we going to see you for the next few races, or is it maybe worth just letting Fuji know that he needs to get somebody else in?
Maybe, I'm not sure yet, see how I go,
Well,
maybe.
I had a big rant at the start of this broadcast actually about drivers need to let him know what's going on, because obviously the positions are limited in the league. So yeah, even if he has to get a temporary driver in or something like that, it's worth letting him know, I reckon, buddy, for the next one. Because obviously there's only 10 guys out here at the moment, so.
Yes, boss.
That's all right. Like I say, I had a big rant, so yeah, it's not just yourself. There's a lot out there, so let's just try and get this league numbers up, and yeah, I think that's the only issue that Fuji really struggles with actually, is that there's limited grid spaces out there. So
just saying though, Alex, while we're on air, I know the Simpit IndyCar races tomorrow morning my time, later tonight your time, depending where you are in the world. Can you not curse me, please?
Well, I'll try my best.
No.
I'll just flip the camera to you and not say anything.
Yeah, it's only when you say anything. Just don't say my name, and I should be all right.
Oh, we'll do that, Marshall. Sorry, Daniel. Marshall having a little look back past Hamilton round the outside. We've seen the speed of the McLaren. Newton moves over to the left just to help his teammate around. Hamilton has to concede that place once again. He'll tuck in third place. This is just a great battle, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out. So, well, hopefully we'll see you in 2 or 3 weeks' time anyway, Daniel. But yeah, remind me, what team are you in again?
The Benetton.
Oh, the Benetton, that was it, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
We'll have a chat tomorrow, Daniel, if that's alright.
Yep. Didn't know we were announcing that on air, but okay, yep.
Yeah, no. I just got back. I was just been on the phone. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. Peter's just joined.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll let you go, Dan, and yeah, good luck in the IndyCar race later on. And yeah, like I said, I won't catch you.
Yeah. I'm in the race, but I'm just actually completely ignored my existence in the race, and I should be good.
Yeah, no worries. All right, thanks, buddy. I'll check you back down. Yeah, couldn't help but have a little rage, little rant.
Yeah, no, I was stuck on the phone. Sorry, mate. So it was really, really good timing.
No way.
Yeah, well, he's supposed to be racing, isn't he? So,
Yeah. But yeah, busy man. Obviously, uni, everything else like that. That's what happens. You know, I think that's the point that we got out at the start, is that we know that real life commitments get in the way. And normally it's not a problem in the GT series. You know, the drivers come and go as they please. But this one, it's just a bit more exclusive with who's allowed on the
committed.
on the grid, because of the your down as the livery and of that particular team. And yeah, so the numbers are capped at whatever it is, 23, 26, something like that. So if you don't turn up, then there's no one to fill your spot in.
Meanwhile, we've got the two Ferraris together, Huang and Benicio. We think Benicio obviously had his pit stop a couple of laps ago, so let's just see if the two Ferraris, we know they were quick in qualifying, working together. Let's see if they can make any progress through the field here. At the moment, were they 6th and 7th, I think they are. So, or maybe 7th, I think they're 6th and 7th, so maybe they'll be able to make some progress and get their way through. And Fuji Satano, our host in the Rothmans Williams, has dropped back. I found out the other day that Fuji actually uses what are those Oculus Rift things when he's driving.
Oh yeah. Awesome. I love. I can't wait to the consumer version of that to actually come out. That's what I'm looking forward to. I think the most. I'm definitely going to get one.
Well, you make sure you order one from Demidov Innovations, because I know that they will be one of the first stockists to sell them. They've already started doing public shows, I think, with the Oculus Rift. I think they're going from shopping centre to shopping centre to show the brand, so they're getting good reviews from that.
Well, as I know, as we've got Fuji coming into the pits, so we're definitely in that window now. So, are we going to be looking? I mean, from here, if he's doing 20 lap stint, he's going to have a little splash and dash at the end. He's not going to make it all the way. Maybe he can do a 25 lap stint, but I don't see it.
No,
I think
well,
2 stops is what we're expecting.
Yeah, I don't know, because we're 28 minutes into the race now. 45 laps. Yeah, no, you think he's not going to make it. You probably need to get that extra lap or two, but our leaders are doing exactly that. They're coming up to the end of lap 20. Interested here to see if they come into the pits. Yes, and yes, and yes. So all three have just driven this all the way to the end. So, well, strategy here might be to fill up. You just see if they take tyres or not. I would be thinking
No, I would think no.
I would be thinking no, but
maybe one end. We saw that in the previous race, didn't we? They changed one end at a time, and then
yeah, you might be able to get away with changing your fronts here.
Can't tell. This camera angle's picked a bad angle.
No cars have been lifting at all. No. Hamilton's away. Oh, they pretty much came in exactly the order that they started. So, resume on, good gentlemen.
Yeah, actually, Hamilton had the slowest of the pit stops there. 12.6 seconds for Scott Newton, 13.1 for Hamilton. So he lost a half a second in the pits, and he's actually 1.2 seconds back. So he is quite vulnerable to losing the draft of Newton. So he needs to have a good couple of corners here through Moss and make sure that he picks up that draft on the back straight. Marshall with a 12.8, so pretty reasonable, like you say. In and out as they were, so I expect they'll all be in around about the same time as Marshall goes wide at Moss Corner, and that's not going to be what he wants. He's set himself back probably nearly 2 seconds there from Hamilton now, and Pierre definitely has closed up during the pits there. He had a much quicker stop, 10.9 seconds for Pierre. He finds himself 3.8 behind Marshall now. So
well, I'm just wondering whether Pierre shorter field for these 2 stops. Like we know now, they're probably going to need to take 2 pit stops.
Yep.
Maybe he's just taking that little bit less fuel. to get himself to about lap 30 and then to lap 45. So break it up 15, 30, 45 and you're home. Maybe he's just done it that way.
He really needs these three to battle and battle hard, because definitely has got enough consistent pace in the car, running low 18s very regularly. Obviously when the guys stick in those mid 17s is when he loses time, but it just needs them to battle even harder, and that's what's going to bring him back up. 3.8 seconds behind Marshall is not a great deal, 6.9 behind our leader, so could happen. It's going to be tricky for him. His teammate behind him is just using him to try and bring him back through to the lead lap, and maybe try and catch up to people like Alex Paul and Fuji, who are a little bit further back now.
Well, this is the race's first big test though, isn't it? Well, we've got Scotty Newton out in front after the quicker pit stop. Aaron Hamilton was 1.2 seconds down across the strike last lap, and with Marshall another 1.6 back. So I'm thinking that Hamilton's right on the verge here of losing the draft, and I'm pretty confident that Marshall is out of the draft, but we know the McLaren's quicker in a straight line. But yeah, interested to see if Hamilton can make ground on Scotty Newton here, and if he does get through, catch up, what does Scotty do? Does he back it up a little to get his teammate in, or does he just keep driving hard? But for the first time, definite separation between the two McLarens.
Yeah, and it just looks like Scotty's driving it hard at the moment. He's pulled away again this lap. That's 0.3 of a second, and you can see through turn 1, turn 2, that gap just on the live timing just extending as well, up to 1.7 seconds. It's flashed 1.8 now as well, so he's pushing hard now. He needs to, he knows he's got opportunity to break this draft at this point, so he's going for it. And yeah, doing a great job out there. Hamilton trying to hold on, but even with the extra downforce, just doesn't seem to be able to close up during the infield section there. Closes a little bit in Moss.
Yeah, let's not forget that Newton's quali time was 0.6 ahead of Hamilton. Hamilton doesn't drive these cars at all, pretty much. So every lap that he does is a new lap, and what he's learning more and more, he pretty much just concentrates on the V8 supercars in the Australian series. So just the fact that our race, he won the first race in convincing style too. So this is all going well for him and for the season. Pick up the win here and there, and then on the races that maybe you don't have the car tuned in, you can still pick up a podium, like at the very least he'd be expecting to do here. It all goes well towards a championship. And Pierre's really just, he's dropped off to 7 seconds, so 3.7 seconds off of Alex there as well after that last lap. 18 flat compared to the 17.8 comparative with Marshall.
Yeah, he just can't quite get into the 17s. He is lacking that 10th or 2 pace out there, and but I said really the last thing he needed was the separation that's now formed between the front three. He needed them to stay within the 1 second of each other, holding each other up. What we I think the only thing that really we're likely to see now is if Marshall can get back up to Hamilton and maybe ahead, use the straight line speed advantage of the McLaren, and perhaps close in on his teammate again. That's the only thing I really can see happening, and Marshall's going to bring Hamilton with him, because we've seen that Hamilton can stick in the draft pretty well. That extra downforce is allowing him to do that. He's not really affected by the dirty air out there or anything, so that's yeah, Pierre's going to wish for that for sure. I think so are we as well, because the start of the race was pretty exciting, and let's hope that the end finishes just the same.
Yeah, well, a poor lap there by Hamilton. He's now 2 seconds off Newton, so the draft's well and truly gone there. And then Marshall with a 17.387 compared to Hamilton's 18.1. So we're talking 0.8 of a second difference there. So Marshall's going to be in the draft. And we know the McLaren's quick enough without the draft in comparison with Jaguar, but it's just going to be a rocket ship once he gets to that back straight.
Yeah, 0.8. Going to be a bit too far back, but you're right, he will close up quite a bit through down this back straight for sure. It's a good corner. That's a good apex there as well for Moss corner even. I'll get it right. Marshall closed in a little bit, perhaps not the best exit, but we can just look at the speed advantage. between them at the moment.
Yeah, look at he's just coming at him.
It was 230 odd kilometers an hour against like 220, so just absolutely tearing it up really down that street in comparison. So
Yeah,
next lap, Hamilton makes a mistake. He's coming under a bit of pressure now.
Yeah, another scrappy lap by Hamilton, another 18-1, so yeah, 1-3-1 with the 1-9-1, so it's a couple of pretty scrappy laps there. So yeah, that's the other thing with the open setup. You know, maybe Hamilton's tyres are screaming a bit of pain here because around a section where I would have thought Hamilton would be quicker with the high downforce, and Marshall's trying to go around the outside. I don't think that's going to get to work. Maybe with the crisscross on the exit again, not going to get the job done there. But coming up to the Moss hairpin, you would think with a better drive out that he'd be a certainty to get the job done down the straight.
What would you do if you're Hamilton here and maybe his pit crew and in his ear? You've seen that Marshall's been putting in lap times faster than Newton out there. Yes, that's probably aided by a little bit by the draft, but do you think about letting him go and maybe trying to stick with him? You were able to keep with him earlier on, see if he can drag you back up to the front. I mean, right now he's got no chance of a win.
Yeah, right now he's got no chance of a choice as to whether he lets him go because the job's already done. It was just too easy, and right now Hamilton is just hoping for at best that hopefully he can get himself ahead at some stage in the tighter section and just hang on and defend hard for possibly second place. I can't see that Jaguar getting the job done for a win. Newton well up the road, and even that lap was an 18-4 for Hamilton, so really struggling. Mind you, Newton up front with an 18-5 has put the handbrake on as well, so Alex Marshall by far the quickest, and I'm just wondering whether Newton's just backing off a little bit here to wait for the teammate.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Newton want to try and keep that separation. He knows that all of a sudden it becomes a 3-car fight, and Hamilton's still that unknown element that could really affect things in the last couple of laps, so he'll want to try and keep that gap away from his teammate as well. But Marshall's driving good at the moment, very, very well, and putting in very consistent laps, so let's see what this one's going to be. It's going to be a clear air lap, so haven't seen any mistakes. Straight on fight, we'll see the difference between the two McLarens. Yeah,
so
Hamilton.
Still a long way to go.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's still a long way to go in it. Another pit stop to look at, and just looking at Pierre with the last few laps of the leaders, he hasn't really dropped that far away. He's still 5 seconds behind Hamilton. Last lap of 18 flat. Hamilton seems to have picked up again with a 17.6, pretty much 17.6 to 17.7 for Marshall. But wow. How can you get a commentator's curse when there's only 8 cars in the race?
Have a look, see what happened.
Jump on board Pierre's car.
He's just run a little... that curb out there is actually deadly as well. I've seen that so many times. Usually it spits you to the inside of the track, so... Has he only just got wing damage there? Did the wing take the brunt of it? Doesn't look like it. Car's crabbing all over the place.
Cars all over the shop.
So, got some front suspension damage on there as well, so he's going to need to get it into the pits, get a repair. He'll come out around about where his teammate is, I think.
I would say so, and that will bring Aaron Drew Stokes, who haven't spoken much about him tonight. Just put in some good effort here, good consistent laps, 18.9 last lap. That will bring him very safely into the top 4. With Alex Pohl will probably pick up the 5th place in the Leighton House. And you're right, I think he'd be, unless he's already used a free toe, Kevin Huang just coming out of the Moss hairpin now. 17.5 for Kevin Huang last lap, which is very comparable with the rest of the field.
Yep. Yeah, the Ferraris, I tell you, they have been quick here today, and unfortunately they got separated with the leaders at the start with obviously that instant Kevin going off, and then of course Paul made the little mistake as well, didn't he? So and the Ferraris are all around there, and I think that's where Pierre lost the ground a bit on the leaders straight away. So, but yeah, had that start instant not happened and they'd all been in a train, I think they would have been right up with the with the top three right now as well. And talking of the top three, a 17.5 for Marshall closes that gap by nearly 2.5 tenths there, the last lap on Scott Newton. So 1.9 seconds the gap now at the front, so it's come back under the 2 seconds. They're slowly closing him in, and Hamilton is coming with them. The difference in Hamilton's lap time when he has the draft, very noticeable. So he's going to be there at the end of the race, I'm sure of it. It's just whether or not he's going to have anything for him. He runs a little bit wide, and yeah, that's what he can't afford to do, because if he loses the back of Marshall, then his race is completely over for any chance of a win.
Yeah, and I just think there's that fear there now. He's dropped another 4 tenths off the back of Marshall, 7 tenths. He's, especially for this next half a lap, he's going to really have to knock this thing on the head and try and work his way up to the back, because I've got no doubt that Marshall's coming up hard on Newton. 18.3 last lap. It's another 7 tenths. I don't know, AC. I'm going to disagree with you here. I think Newton's pulling this up just ever so slightly to get his teammate working with him. Like Scotty Newton's times, he's been able to do highs, 17.7s to 17.9s consistently. Did a 17.6 on lap 27, and now all of a sudden he's floating 18.3. Didn't see a mistake out of him, but he's dragging Alex Marshall away from Aaron Hamilton here.
Yeah, you think if they do some really hot laps at this point, they might be able to break the draft from Hamilton, and then they can just drive away and have their own little battle. Certainly wasn't possible one-on-one, but Hamilton's had a great lap here as well, closed right in, so even with that
17.4.
Yep.
That's just the 1/100th off of his fastest lap of the race, so that's a great time to be doing that. So no need to have excuses about the tyres wearing out or anything like that, because that's a great time to be doing that. And we're talking an 18.5 now for Scotty Newton.
Yeah,
let's see how he goes. Now that Alex is with him, let's see how his last... Yeah, he does, but now that Alex is with him, let's see how his next few laps are. Otherwise, if he's not foxing, you would think that Marshall's going to be able to drive straight past him.
Yeah, Sector 1 times are all pretty comparable. So yeah, maybe you're right, he was just holding back a little bit, trying to make it exciting for us here in the broadcast.
Well, I got to admit, as a team manager, if I was going to be barking out team orders, that would have been one of them, is to get yourself back there, drag Marshall away from Hamilton, work together. Then, we've still got 15 laps to go. Use the last 7 laps to drag, to punch it out, but just get yourselves away from Hamilton to start with.
Hamilton was the quickest driver in the second sector there as well, so that includes that big straight. So even though the McLarens are faster, Hamilton got the better exit through Moss, and was able to use the draft just to keep in touch. So
another 18.1 for Newton here too.
Yeah, maybe struggling a little bit on the tyres. He's going to maybe need some fresh boots on this final stop. Who knows? But it just seems like the car's going away from him right now. So.
Well, we've been saying how hard the two McLarens have been working in comparison with the Jaguar, the amount of work on the wheel. So, maybe they are burning their tyres out, but they've still got that straight line speed, which is a very handy weapon to have. But fresh tyres is also another good weapon to have, and Hamilton's not going anywhere at the moment. He's certainly not dropping off them.
I want to point out again that if you're tuned in watching this back on YouTube, like what you see, this is the Grand Prix 247.com iRacing Star Mazda Championship. It's run Saturday mornings, GMT, that is, anyway, at, 10 o'clock in the morning the race starts, qualifying just a little bit before of that. So, if obviously convert it to your own local time to work out the time on that one, but so we run the official F1 liveries through the years past and current cars as well. There's plenty of teams out there, and as we've talked about earlier on, there's plenty of team slots going to come available. So if you're interested in the Star Mazda League around this sort of time, then jump on the iRacing forums, find the thread in the private league area, speak to Fuji, get his name down there. I'm sure he can get you in the car for next week. It's just the first. We're round 2, so you won't miss much of it. league in its infancy, and knowing the Sim Racers Asia guys, this is going to be around for some time. It's going to grow quite considerably. So it's first foray into the single seaters, and yeah, I think we're onto a good format here. Just just got to build up the audience a little bit.
Oh, I think it's a great format. I think it's going to work really well. If I was going to recommend anything, I'd also probably say just give it fixed setups. Just throw the high setup or something in there, so that those potential open wheelers who haven't done much racing before don't have to worry saying, "Oh, my setup won't be as good." Just throw it as a fixed setup and let the boys box on an even contest.
Yeah, you're right. That actually might spice it up just a little bit as well. Who knows? So. I'm sure right now all of the open setup guys are screaming at us.
Yeah.
They're watching it back. How dare they? You say that though. There was just to talk about another series that that goes on. We don't cover it, but you cover it, Brenton, and that's the Australian Grand Prix series. Very successful turnout with a fixed setup in the Williams FW31. Now, who would have thought we could have had a successful league in the Williams? We barely get the official series to go official. 30 odd guys signed up for that.
Yep, and it's a and I don't want to divulge too much away from here, but it's a great Sunday afternoon. It really is. The organisers have done it really well. They'll start the afternoon off with a Skip Barber race at a particular track, and after that they'll have a Star Mazda race at that same track, and then followed by the Grand Prix at the same track. So it really is. It turns into a race meet during. Hamilton trouble. He's just saved himself a bit of problems there. Just got on the grass on the right hand side and just lost that front a little bit. But yeah, it's a great series, and with thanks to yourself, AC, for the bit of work on the setup there. And with the fixed series, the boys are just showing up and they're loving it. There's so many intricacies, as you know more than anyone with the F1s. They don't have to think about that. They just want to get in the car. They want to drive fast. They want to have fun, and that's exactly what they're doing there. It's the same with the Star Mazda Australian Championship, which we run here in Australia on Thursday nights. Fixed setup series. The entries are just piling in. I think they're up to about 50-something entries. That's just from the Australians alone. So if I was going to say anything for this series, I would say just fix the setup, and you'll just see all the guys coming and straight in, and I'll have a great time.
Yeah, I mean, the Star Mazda is quite a technical car to set up. It's very loose as well on, when you sort of off-power oversteer is pretty notorious issue with it. Not 100% true to life for that, to be fair, but it's something we've had in the car, and drivers have to deal with it. And but you can dial that out in the setup. I mean, I know certainly I've worked with some academy drivers in the past, and we were doing a whole season in the Star Mazda. I was just trying to help him out, and as Newton's in, and Marshall carries on one, Hamilton goes in as well. So we've got a car to the right there. I'm not sure who that is. That's Sartano, our race organizer. We'll stay with Newton Hamilton actually and see who it is who's going to come out of the pits. They're literally right on top of each other as they box in. So, but yeah, as I was saying, these guys.
I have a feeling Newton is taking tyres. He is. He's certainly taking fronts. Hamilton out before him.
Yep.
And Newton was struggling on those tyres, obviously. I think it's got to be advantage Marshall here, and we'll stick on. I'll just see where Marshall is. He's
had a big moment.
He's not far down the track.
Yeah, he's had a big moment. He's got massive damage to the rear. Let's take a little look back, see what happened there. All of a sudden, Aaron Hamilton in this race, very much big time. Oh yeah, he just lost it coming out, and couldn't stop the car before hitting the wall. Lost probably.
Well, he's due for a pit stop now.
Yeah, so I mean, he's not going to lose a great deal of time, but it's going to put him out of the fight for the win for sure.
Well, the interest here is Scotty Newton's got himself some new fronts. There's only about 8 laps to go, and Hamilton, if he's been looking after his tyres, especially with the higher downforce setup, you'd have to think the tyres are in a bit better shape.
My only concern with Newton now is that he's got new fronts, but not new rears, and he could be
Yeah,
sliding all over the place, and it looks like he's doing exactly that. Look at the car, it's all over the shot. He's
Yeah,
losing
it looks-
ground like crazy. It was definitely a mistake, I think, to take just fronts. You're going to do the tyres, you've got to do them both. I think
Okay,
Hamilton,
so Marshall's out of the pits.
fresh car, so he's not too far back, but
Well,
there goes Andrew Stokes. So Stokes,
Yeah,
up
Stokes
into
is true.
third. Stokes hasn't pitted yet, might add though. So Stokes still needs to pit. But this
Yeah,
race
but
just blown wide open.
Stokes isn't going to make life easy for Marshall here. And I don't think Marshall took tyres. But yeah, the race has been blown wide open, and there's what have we got? 9 laps to go, 8 laps to go. Stokes still hasn't let Marshall through, nor should he. There's no blue flags here. Kind of racing for position, although Stokes hasn't pitted yet for his second stop. Let's just see the difference, and I'm glad we're on board with it. We've got the chance to have a look at the McLaren in a straight line. Let's see what kind of work Marshall can do here. We know the McLaren's quicker in a straight line, and he really just does blow by him so quickly, doesn't he?
Yeah, straight through. Nothing there that Stokes could do. Just moved over, let him have it. Saw him coming. There's no point really there. So, right, let's see what sort of lap times Newton does this time. I mean, I think Hamilton's just driving away from him right now. 18.2 for Hamilton, 19.5 I say for Newton. So that was a mistake for sure. The fronts, I think the car's all over the shot now. I don't think he was struggling with understeer. I thought it looked like the car was becoming increasingly more twitchy, so it was the rears that were the problem. So yeah, made the call there. I'm not sure it's going to be the right one, and just gift wrap this race to Hamilton. He could have afforded to just leave the tyres on, and just there was no way Hamilton was going to get past him. Just even if he did, he was going to get straight back past.
Yeah, and like I said, if you're going to take the tyres, take them at the end of the first stint. Don't take it there, because your backs, as you've been saying, are completely worn. You've got brand new fronts there. That's got to do something with the balance of the car. And I was fairly surprised he did that, but at the same time, we saw what his lap times were before the pits. You know, we were blowing out to 18.1, 18.5, 18.3. So, although a 17.4, 17.408 before he came in tells me, well, why take tyres? But he's done what he's done, and now he's going to have to deal with that. 18 flat last lap for Hamilton. And 18.2.
Still just driving away from him.
And an 18.8 for Marshall, although that was...
gone, Newton's gone, big time, he's into the wall. So, yeah, disaster for the McLarens out there. They've just thrown this race away. They had it in the bag, I think, yeah. Marshall just eager to try and get an absolute ballistic lap in, just gets himself all crossed up and into the wall. And, yeah, Newton
he still hasn't recovered.
Just struggling with that balance. Yeah, the car's in a big state out there. So, gonna need to pit and get that repaired.
Yeah, it's how to steal defeat from the jaws of victory here for the McLaren boys, and yeah, that car's gone. That's had it, and you know, our little understated friend Andrew Stokes has now got himself up into third place, the podium position. So, yeah, great stuff for perseverance there.
Yeah, he's still got, we were assuming he's still got a pit. Going to be a tiny little splash at the end, so it's not going to be a very long one for sure. So Pierre might, in fact, jump that into that third place. Obviously, he did have that mistake as well, didn't he, Pierre? So,
actually at the same part. So
yeah, that's going to be quite close between those guys actually. As Stokes is in. So let's see where he comes out.
So Pierre's just, that's Kevin Huang actually coming around the last turn. So
yeah, Pierre's there as well. So this is going to be quite close. Stokes is still stationary at the moment.
Newton still is only just in pit lane now, so game over for Newton. Pierre across the strike now.
There's a slow stop for Stokes.
He's taken tyres as well, I'm sure of it. It's a terribly long stop. Yeah, he's taken tyres.
25 seconds.
And if you see that, Newton's Has Newton jumped him in the pit stop, do you think?
Yeah.
Back in front of him?
Yeah, he has got back in front of him.
Newton's just come in, quick repair, no fuel, nothing. Just got straight back out there, and Stokes has taken an eternity in that pit.
There's a third place gone and begging there. Just needed the fuel, get in, get out. Maybe he got a speeding penalty or something like that. I didn't see the car drop down from the jacks there, so
No,
I don't think he has.
either.
I don't think he has tired. I think he maybe just got a speeding penalty. So yeah, it's just
Yeah, well, he's made a bit of a dog's breakfast, as has the two McLarens. So
yeah, maybe a bit of mental fatigue or something going on out there at the moment. We are, we're an hour into this race now, closing in on. So yeah, you have to think. Well, actually, it's about an hour and 10 minutes, isn't it? So yeah, maybe just little mistakes being made out there by the drivers, thinking this is going to work, and yeah, completely the opposite's happened.
Yeah, and I've got to admit, I've been busy typing away to Aaron Hamilton, being a Evolution Racing Australia teammate, just filling him in on some time gaps and some dramas behind him. But that's a super start to the series for Aaron Hamilton, and if he can get the job done here, well, 2 out of 2, and certainly made the most of this race. If the job gets done, still a bit to go yet, but which shoes would you rather be in?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were pretty much counting his chances out at, the sort of first pit stop, and thinking that he literally has just got to hold on and see what happens. Couldn't really see any way of him getting past if the guys were just going to do their thing ahead. But we said as long as he stays there, he's got a chance, and he did that all through the race. He just managed to stay in that draft. He wasn't 8 or 9 seconds back. That could have quite easily been had the two McLarens disappeared and managed to break the draft from him. So did exactly what he needed to do, and was able to take full advantage of the mistakes that both the drivers have done there. And here he is, just showing actually that consistency counts.
Well, knowing Aaron that I do, he'd be the first to put his hand up and say sometimes he could seem to be over anxious in making passing attempts or defending, and it certainly gets in his fair share of tangles. But by saying that, he is fast, and he's a deep thinker in regards to what strategies to use and fuel saving and things like that. It is something that his brain's just working on all the time, and he's just he doesn't need to be pushing here, but he's probably got that rhythm up. But he does have deep consideration for what he needs to do to get this car across the line, and his fuel strategy. So hats off to him at the moment. 3 to go. He's last lap of an 18.2. He could pull that up. Yeah, he could punch out 19.5s here and still get the job done.
Another driver I think will be happy because he's had his dramas as well, and that's Pierre. Sat there in 3rd place. He had his off, didn't he? So
yeah, he did.
And he's going to pick up a podium. So good for Ferrari for sure. And actually, good to see 3 manufacturers on the podium at the end of the race as well.
And I'm going to jump on the Rothmans Williams here with our host Fuji Sartona just whilst we've only got a couple of laps to go and things have quieted down a bit. The 05 of Fuji here. I'm just wondering whether he's using the Oculus Rift again. Had some issues, it looks like lap 34 or 35, down in 8th place. That's our final car on the track, but he runs a good show, Fuji, and it'd be remiss of us to not give him a bit of airtime and show what he's doing.
Indeed. I mean, talking about the Oculus that he's running with it, I think that's definitely going to be the future of sim racing once it prices and technology and everything all sorts itself out. Obviously right now you have to have a monster system to run it all, but I think really I certainly drove the original version, so the DK1, had a little play, and the immersion that you get from it to actually be in the cockpit seat and have the car wrapped around you that's something else, I have to say. So if you haven't experienced it and you get an opportunity to try it out somewhere, then I suggest you all do it, because it's pretty impressive. And the DK2 made quite a jump, and as far as we know, the Crescent Bay model, which was the last of the want to say the developers' kits, but the developers couldn't get their hands on that one. Got rid of the pretty much the screen door effect, and now the consumer version is meant to be 1440p screens as well. So the resolution's right up there. So you'll be playing on pretty decent resolution as well. So it was I can't wait to see the first version come out.
But as a non-user AC, I think the question everyone will want to ask, forget the price and all that, does it make you faster? And that's what people will ultimately want to know. Do you feel like you can get your lines right, hit your apexes, hit your braking points? Do you feel that it makes you faster? Because if it makes you faster, there's going to be a lot of screens for sale on eBay, and a lot of people trying to buy Oculus Rifts.
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty hard for me to say because I've only ever run the DK1, and the resolution was pretty low. So I certainly, with what I had to deal with there, I certainly would say no, it wouldn't make me any faster. I think, I think deep down, it's not going to make you any quicker. You're going to be about as quick as you are. It's just you're going to enjoy the experience a whole load more.
Last lap for our race leaders as well. So Hamilton on the back straight for the last time.
Yeah, 8.4 seconds. He can coast it here. He's got no worries whatsoever. Still running the 17s on his own, so I mean he had the pace at the end there as well. Marshall running 17s, but that's about it. Last few corners. Hamilton for back-to-back victories in the opening rounds of the Grand Prix 247.com iRacing Star Mazda Series. He's delighted with that as he weaves across the line. Played an absolute perfect race. Well done to him. Alex Marshall coming across in second. I don't think he'll be disappointed with second per se, but I think he feels like he could have beat the driver who won, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably one of the McLarens was going to come first or second, you would have thought. So whether it was going to be Marshall or Newton, so Marshall would probably take the second, but like you said, it's the car that beat him was there for the taking.
Yep.
And Pierre-Emmanuel Obanish coming across for third. So he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, he is. Look at that, delighted. You can see
the dramas he had on lap 1, and Scotty Newton. Well, really, it's to be honest with you, for the fact he's coming fourth after the accident he had is a good performance, but a bit of a tale of woe there for Scotty. Yep. And Kevin, why did he drop a spot or two on that last lap? I'm thinking he must have.
No, they didn't. It was a lap down, wasn't he? Anyway, so Stokes in 5th, then it was always Paul. If anything, Hung got by Sartano. Closing laps. I thought it was the other way around, Sartano and then Hung.
Well, I'm going to love you and leave you, AC.
Thanks very much.
For divorce if I stay here much longer, so look forward to speaking and good luck for the F1s tonight.
Yep, cheers Brenton.
Cheers, boys.
We'll just give it a minute or two. We'll go to a quick commercial break, see if anyone wants to come in to have a very quick little chat. But if not, then we will call it a day as Alex Paul just as a chunk of our race leader, and that's caused some damage on that there. So it's it's all fair. Love war and racing by the seams of it. As Hamilton gets some damage there. But yeah, like I say, we'll go to a quick commercial break, and then we will be straight back and hopefully grab an interview from a driver or two. Welcome back to the Grand Prix 247.com iRacing Star Mazda series. Alex Simpson in the booth for the post-race show. We will keep this pretty short. We've got a few guys just popped in to have an interview. Let's grab our race leader up. I'm sure he'll probably be having a little chat with the guys below, but let's grab him anyway. Aaron Hamilton, congratulations, buddy. Back-to-back wins here in the Grand Prix 247.com iRacing Star Mazda series. You must be delighted.
Yeah, I've got to say, it's probably one of the most satisfying races I've done in a while. Everything that went wrong, well, it wasn't the ideal circumstances, and a whole bunch of stuff had to go right to get that win.
Yeah, it looked like you had fair amount more downforce than the two McLarens out there, and they were able to breeze back past you pretty quickly down that back straight. So we were thinking it was going to be tough for you to get anything more than just a podium position out of this race. But yeah, a lot of mistakes by those guys in and around the final pit stop, and you just nailed it, and yeah, just drove away at the end.
Yeah, I got incredibly lucky. I was hoping that my tyres would be a little bit better off near the end, but it looks like Scott accidentally took the tyres in the last pit stop, so getting that couple of seconds in front and then a couple of mistakes, I think, from him sort of secured that first place position. But yeah, it was great racing by both Alex and Scott. It was really fun.
Yeah, so Scott took fronts only, so his car was all over the place in that final stint. Really struggling with the oversteer as far as we could tell. So yeah, and then Marshall made a mistake as you guys pitted. I think he lost it out of turn 3. So yeah, just set you free, and like you say, that little extra downforce probably just helped you keep your tyres in check through the whole stint. But yeah, great job. Like I say, we were perhaps counting you out for the win. So things might have to go seriously wrong for it to happen, and indeed it did. So yeah, congratulations, back to back.
Yeah, thank you. I wasn't counting on myself to get the win either, but I was just hoping that those things would go wrong. So you get lucky some days. You just got to take it.
Indeed you do. And of course, Jaguar teammate, whereabouts is he at the moment? Do we know?
Oh, he's I think he came in late. He popped in the channel and he's like, "Hey," I'm like, "Yeah, the race is on." He was doing a bit of spotting, so
well, hopefully
he should be there next week. Or next week,
so hopefully he can join us for the next one. Well, before I let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out and thank?
I guess thank Alex and Scott for the great racing. It was a really good race, and thank you for the broadcast. It's absolutely excellent.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Wish you all the best of luck for the next round, and yeah, it's a few weeks away, isn't it? That one. I'm just actually bringing the calendar up just to check the dates on it, just to make sure I don't say anything wrong. So yeah, we're at Silverstone on the 4th of July, so it's not next week, but the week after. So a couple of weeks, week break.
That'll be one to look forward to.
Alright, thanks buddy. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and yeah, good luck in anything else you're doing this week.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers, mate. Up next we've got Alex Marshall. Alex in second place in the McLaren. I think overall second place you probably won't be disappointed with the result, but as we mentioned on the commentary, feel like you guys definitely had the pace over the Jaguars today, and probably felt like you had an easy 1-2 for the team, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, we suffered a bit of bad luck. I think if you bring Scott in, he'll tell you what happened to him, which was slightly unfortunate. For me, just spinning, going around turn 2, could have put me a lot further up, I think, if that hadn't happened. But it was a good result still.
Yeah, so just to take us through that, you see the guys both jump into the pits. Is that really was that, were you push into the absolute limit there? Like, just want to try and see if you could jump Scott in the pits?
Yeah, so for the race, me and Scott were talking a lot about strategy throughout. And there was one moment where I let Aaron by, because we had a strategy for Scott to pull in, hoping it'd be too late for Aaron to be able to follow him in, and then I would dive in after Scott. That didn't quite work out, so we decided to split for the next stop. I'd carry on and push hard, and push too hard and just clip the grass and spun around.
Terribly unfortunate, and picked up a bit of wing damage as well, so that slowed you in on your in lap as well. And yeah, about 8 seconds back. I mean, that gap stayed pretty static. You were lapping similar sort of times to Aaron, just not enough time to recover really.
No, at that point it was more just get the car back and finish the race.
The McLarens were very, very quick today, though. Definitely looked like you were controlling the race for a good portion of it out there, and you were able to make passes pretty easily down that back straight. So, car, while it looked like it was a bit of a handful in the early laps, was definitely very, very quick.
Yeah, we felt like we had quite a lot of straight line speed, and this race, me and Scott played it as a team and just tried to make sure we could keep Aaron behind and just blocking him and just keeping our cars up front.
Well, congrats on the results. Second place, like I say, pretty happy still to be. I think you guys were expecting a 1-2. You got half of it, but all the best of luck for the next race at Silverstone.
Yeah, cheers.
Thanks, Alex.
Cheers.
Bring up Alex's teammate then, probably a very dejected Scott Newton. Scott. Well, just tell us what happened there, mate.
In the first stint, I had a little bit of a heart in the mouth moment, especially going down into the moss corner section. Just tapping the grass and almost firing it into Alex, which would have been a bad way to send both of us out of the race, but luckily I saved it. Pretty much the race up until the end of lap 35 when I come into the pits was pretty much like the gap was like no more than 2 seconds apart, and then just made a rookie error forgetting to uncheck the tyres. I did the fuel perfectly but forgot to uncheck the tyres, so but it
looked like it was just the front tyres as well that went on. I think we I mean, this is the way we called it on the commentary. Was kind of like that. It looked like maybe you were struggling a little bit out there. The guys were closing you back in, and then we thought, oh, maybe he's taken tyres. But we were shocked, of course, that it was one stop. So yeah, it makes sense now that that it was the fronts and not the rears. Thinking, oh god, the car must be uber twitchy after that happened. But yeah, so it's just a case of just not forgetting to distillate. You must be gutted.
Yeah, a little bit, especially after the first couple of laps after the second stop. Just got a little bit wide on the exit of turn 1 and fired it into the wall on the outside of the pit lane. So I just had to limp it back just to save the greater than 1 minute tow.
Made the mistake just because the balance was all over the place with the front and rear
tyres.
Yeah. Well, let's put this one aside. I mean, 4th place, to be honest, as as points go, it's not like a complete disaster. I still clocked up a load of points there, so gives you some. It's not like a DNF or anything like that. Will really set you back as far as the championship goes. Silverstone up next. In some ways, a very similar circuit to Mosport. Sort of high-speed flowing corners. So. How do you think your chances are going to be there?
Pretty good, I think, given the pace that I had this week and the previous race at Montreal. I think I should be fighting at the front, hopefully, and competing for the win, which is the aim.
Well, wish you all the best of luck. Do you want to give anyone a quick shout out? I didn't let Alex and the McLaren team do it, so if you could do it for both.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Alex Marshall, my teammate, for the hard work on the setup and obviously helping out with the practice as well. Obviously to Fuji and the SRA team for putting on a great series, and hopefully it grows to be a good success, and obviously to ARL TV for putting on the broadcast each race.
Yeah, thanks very much, Scott. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, buddy, and we'll see you at Silverstone.
Thanks, Alex, and good luck for WCS tonight.
Cheers, mate. Right, that's about it then. So just to confirm the standings, Aaron Hamilton takes it by 8 seconds from Alex Marshall. Pierre there in 3rd place, followed by Scott in 4th, Andrew Stokes there in 5th as well. So Pretty close race. Could have gone any way at the end there, and I really wasn't sure what was going to happen. So, but yeah, Aaron Hamilton takes it. Back-to-back wins for him. Just want to thank everybody who tunes in, watched it live, watches this back on YouTube as well. Don't forget to give us any feedback in the comment section. Everything's welcome. Also, subscribe to the channel, share it on all the social media for us, and just try and help us promote this series. See if we can get a full grid for the next race at Silverstone. Again, thanks very much for Fuji for putting on the show, and we'll bid you all a fair day, and we will see you at Silverstone in 2 weeks' time.